So hello everyone and welcome to MountainSpeak. We are in season 4, episode 2, and today we have Dave with us. I'm also joined with by Josy George, who is a first year student at IBS Hyderabad and currently interning with Aster Prime Hospital. The goal of MountainSpeak is to have free form discussions, dialogues, interactions to figure out interesting life trajectories of people around us. And thank you, Dave, for joining us today for this interaction.
It's my pleasure, thank you.
Before we go forward, if you could just run us through what your current responsibilities are, and then we can move forward.
Yeah, currently as a regional CEO of Aster, I manage the Andhra Telangana cluster where we have 7 hospitals, one in Hyderabad and 3 in Vijayawada, one in Guntur, Ongole we have one, and one in Tirupati.
Okay.
So 7 hospitals. So I manage the P&L and the expansion of this cluster by introducing more hospitals, by increasing the footprint of Aster. Probably the brand equity of Aster has to be also increased in this geography. So this is what I am doing in the current role.
Okay.
I did my graduation and after graduation got into sales. I was in pharma, in Ranbaxy.
Pharma sales.
Yeah, pharma sales for a long time, and 10 years I was with Ranbaxy. And I moved. I was covering half of Kerala and as a manager. Then moved into retailing with a company called Subiksha as a business analyst covering the pharma.
So this is food retailing.
Food
Food
retail,
grocery
yeah.
retailing.
Grocery retailing, but they had a pharma retailing.
They are pharma
So
retailing.
they had a unique concept of having a pharmacy inside a supermarket. So I
groceries.
was handling the Kerala vertical for the pharma.
Pharma, okay.
So then that was about 1.5 years, and that company had some issues, and they had some board level issues and all. So that was the time when I was looking for other opportunities. Something came up in Aster, but that was in a different role. It was actually recruiting people from India to our Middle East entities. So that was the whole thing. That time, we've been recruiting doctors, nurses, pharmacists, all those people from India to different the GCC countries. So I was handling that as a manager recruitment in India. So that was the position which I came in, and then subsequently there was a project at Wayanad in Kerala, which is a backward state of Kerala, where our chairman wanted to set up a medical college. Because he always feels that he was a teacher initially when after his UG PG medical degrees, so he was a teacher in Calicut Government Medical College, but he went to business. He feels that he has lost that teaching flavor of that, so he wanted to come back and contribute something to education. So this was his dream, to set up something, and that too in a very backward place or backward state in Kerala. So I was actually asked to initially handle some statutory work of that institution. So I was doing parallelly the recruitment as well as handling the statutes. But that project was so important that at one point of time, a chairman felt that it has a specific timeline by which that project has to achieve certain goals. So he said that you have to be there full time. So that was the time I was actually asked to move from the recruitment side to the product side, and that was my entry into healthcare. This was in 2009, and then I was fortunate. Probably healthcare leaders, many people don't get that opportunity of starting something from the scratch.
But you were also brave enough to take it up. A lot of people would find it to be a career break, but you thought, no, this is a good opportunity.
Yes, definitely.
And you saw it that way.
Yeah, I was taking it as a challenge because that time I have been to medical colleges.
Correct.
That was the only experience I had. I never had an experience of setting up a college or an institution. But there was a very good team, of the project team, which helped me. And then whatever targets we set, we could achieve. And then I was there for 10 years, and then I wanted to change. I set up the college. The first batch went for a convocation. MBB. Subsequently, even though we started as a medical college, then we started nursing college, pharmacy college. So we had a fantastic campus of 500 acres.
Entire medical education.
Medical education campus.
Correct.
So after 10 years being in Wayanad, I wanted a change. So that's when the Hyderabad thing came up. So he said, okay, there's an opportunity in Hyderabad, you can come. So I came as a CEO of this Aster Prime Hospital first. And then subsequently the new role came as the regional CEO for Andhra Telangana. So that's the whole journey.
I think that's a fantastic journey, and you seem to have covered multiple roles and multiple responsibilities. And I think there's a lesson to be learned for all our listeners as well, that when an opportunity presents, you should
Yes.
grab it.
Yeah, true, very true.
I keep asking it's not that I have to do this. No, I get to do this.
Correct.
And hence it could open up. I also have Josy, who is a first year student at IBS Hyderabad and also currently interning at Aster Prime, who's also a co-host for the day. Josy?
Yes, Josy, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity. So you coined a word, destiny, in between, and I remember the words of Phil Knight where he says, "I had an aching sense that life is short, shorter than ever, short as a morning run." So, do you have what is your ikigai? Do you have a particular morale or a particular value that drives you when you wake up each and every day?
Definitely. See, two things. One is that my philosophy is very simple. At the end of the day, when you go back home every day, you should feel that you have accomplished something. You should be happy. You should be happy that you have done something today. There will be a lot of issues, a lot of problems, a lot of challenges. Being in healthcare, it poses a lot of issues to you. But then, at the end of the day, if you feel that okay, you have done something good, that's the first thing. That gives a energy for the next day. So that's the first thing. Second thing, being in healthcare, we are serving people. We are supporting the people who are in pain. You are changing life. You are saving life. I'm actually directly not, saving life, but I am part of the system.
Making it easier.
Part of the system which saves life. So, it gives a lot of pleasure. Today morning, before I came, there was a patient admitted, came through a reference of my friend. I had to make a visit, and when they see you, when they know that, okay, somebody from a hospital comes and meets them, you can see that happiness in them every day. So that drives.
When you talked about that, I would love to ask you, pose a second question. As Brian Tracy says, in case of sales, not in healthcare, but in case of sales, you can delight your customers or you can make your customers amazed. So, do you have such memories where the customers, I would say, the patients were delighted by the service that
Yes.
were provided by you indirectly?
A lot of experiences, but one thing I specifically remember is a case where the patient was totally dissatisfied, and he was actually on the verge of filing a legal complaint against us.
Okay.
That was in Wayanad, not here.
Uh-huh.
And that was actually, sometimes in healthcare what happens is, doctors are also humans. What happens during some surgery, even though they know the technique, they have that expertise. Sometimes, due to the condition of the patient and due to the the complexity of the surgery, sometimes things don't go as expected. But the problem was that the doctor did not admit that it was it was not as expected. He tried to say that this can be a risk factor and this can be a known complication, but the patient was very educated. They knew that this was a mistake by the doctor, but then the doctor did not admit. It takes a lot of courage to admit a mistake.
Correct.
So that was a point where a lot of our team members, doctors, everybody went to this patient. Nobody could settle it. So finally it came to me, and then I asked the doctor what happened. So he said, I said, you have to be honest with me. So he said, there was some, I could have done it better. I said, you could have admitted the mistake. No, but they said, if I admit the mistake, I don't know how the patient takes it.
Correct.
I said, let us take it. Anyway, they are going to take it serious now. Let us go and do that. Then he said, can you help me? So I said, yeah, of course I'll help you. And I went to the patient. And then they said, oh, now, the head of the unit is coming and meeting us. So there is something right path we are going. So I said, no, I am not come to convince you. I just came that, there's a mistake from our side, and then, how can we correct that for you? Then the patient said the one statement that actually made a lot of, meaning. He said, you are the first person who is coming and telling us that you made a mistake. We were expecting that. And none of your team members did that. So that way, that was the reason which actually, that bonding started.
Correct.
Then I told them, how can we help you? Please don't take it up, and please give us an opportunity to help us. And then subsequently, that created a bond, and that patient was remained in the same hospital. They did the operation. The same hospital. They were very happy after that. And after that, when they were leaving, because we had done some mistake, we also gave some special benefits and all to them. But at the same time, we also give them a health checkup package. After 6 months, they could come back and do a health checkup. Even for the husband, both husband and wife, both of them we gave. So we were very delighted. the good thing was that after that, they have been such a positive influences for the hospital. They started referring patients.
Okay.
So that was a very good thing for me personally. I feel that somebody who was on the other side who was
Correct.
totally negative.
Becomes an advocate for you.
Yeah. That was the one experience which I still feel. They still connect to me even if I'm in Hyderabad, and they still say that we miss you here. So that's
Correct.
something which is very, very satisfying.
So, sir, about life, if we talk about your life or about commonly about life is never like a sine wave. It's not even a roller coaster. You know not what tomorrow is keeps there for you. So, how do you face failures?
How do you face failures?
Failures, yeah.
Oh.
I mean, these are important. So the idea also is to give lessons as to how
failures. If you ask me, I have faced a lot of failures in life.
Uh-huh.
That's what I was thinking. Which
Which
to
one?
which to focus. The failures I told you. I say the first. Mostly I was okay, an average student in sense. More into studies. My school days and college time. So I wanted to get into entrance. That was the first debacle. The medical entrance. I wanted to become a doctor, and I failed miserably in the entrance. I couldn't clear the medical entrance, and that was the biggest setback. Till then till the +2 you feel that you want to become a doctor, and try only for that. Those 2 years only was meant for medicine entrance, how to crack that, but then you don't get it. I went into a kind of depression for some time. About 6 months. It took some time to come out of it, but then that depression actually put a shock in sense I never tried for entrance again. That was the only first attempt I made, which created the impact, and then I completely stopped. So failures have been there completely, and then after graduation got into sales. Sales is something where you fail every day. You fail every day. You meet customers. Some you can convert, some you can't convert. So you are facing failures on a daily basis. 10 years I was failing every day. So it was like a lot of learning from that, and then different roles you have. Multiple things, but then how to come out of the failure is something. Failure is something is a negative word basically. If you look at failure as a challenge, that is a different thing. You have to learn from that and how to improvise yourself, present a new form of you, or the approach towards that particular situation or that person, how it can be different. So good thing is that one good thing that I would say is that sales actually gives you that opportunity, to reinvent yourself every day. Previous day you would have done something which have gone wrong. You can do a new version of yourself in the next day. So you keep on improving yourself. So that was something, I take it as a learning experience basically. Failures, you should not be very sad or think bad about failure. You have to think positive about it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you spoke about sales, when you become a salesman, you are becoming a choice architect for others. You are designing the choice of others. So were there any instances where you had to devise some new methodologies so as to crack the major problem of sales?
A lot of things, some I can't reveal now. Some may not be looking nice when I say. There are certain tricks that the sales guys use, with some
We'll
of
take
them.
it offline.
Yeah, we can take it offline, but not on a record. But there was a particular situation which was more scientific conversion.
Mm-hmm.
See, there was a specific instance where you were selling an antibiotic, which is called amoxicillin clavulanic acid. Most of the households will be taking that either in the name of Augmentin or Enhancin, Moxiclav. Okay, so that drug was in its very preliminary stage, and Augmentin is from the SmithKline Beecham, which was the research brand.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my doctor, a pediatrician, was using their pediatrics for he was very prolific user of that Augmentin. So Ranbaxy, the company which I was representing, had brought a brand called Enhancin. So I went to this doctor, and he was using Augmentin. He said it's a research product. They have the quality, and actually speaking, he was actually trying with other brands.
Okay.
But somehow he did not get the stability. Some brands had the discoloration of the syrup when it is made. So he said, I don't believe in any other brand now because I have faced issues with other brands. Your brand will also be the same. So I only want to use the research brand. That was a challenge posed to me. So I thought, okay, what he's saying is logic. He's not confident with the brand. I have to get something solid. So I went to my company. I went to our research team, and I wrote to them and told them there's a problem like this. I want some help from you. And then they did actually a study. They took a lot of brands or competitor brands from the market, they did a study and they took the stabilization study of all the drugs and they sent me the study saying that only our brand and Augmentin were the two things which are stable in that.
Stable.
Okay.
In the
So,
category.
so that study with the paper, I went to the doctor next time. I said, you have
This is
most
what we have
this
done.
is something for you, we have done this study.
Correct.
So he was very impressed and he said, how can I believe you? I said, you take. I gave him some, I still remember some 30 samples.
Okay.
So you try this, you are confident you would use. And he was very happy after that. And then it was the conversion. You know, you don't have to do anything.
Yes.
Correct. I mean, but there's interesting lessons there because in our class also when we deal with B2B specifically, we usually look at what are known as pain points, client's pain points.
Yes.
Now, this doctor has an obvious pain point. If he recommends a medicine and that medicine discolors,
Correct.
then the patient is going to come back and
He loses confidence.
he loses confidence on doctor. So
Yes.
doctor has to protect himself first.
Correct.
So I think there was a fair point on his part as well. but
Yes,
you
yes.
did
He was very, he was very good doctor, very, a very good clinician and also a very good academician. So he understood that, the study,
is being done.
the dates and other things, he knew that a very scientific study was done.
And data, of course,
Yes.
data is there. So if
Correct.
data speaks, then others will have to shut up in that.
So that was one thing I remember. A lot of other things are there, like a lot of conversions have happened, but then
Correct.
this was something which
We'll talk about
Yeah.
it. But how has, let's say, over last, let's say 2-3 decades, how has the healthcare evolved in your sense? You have been in part of this industry, larger industry. How has it evolved?
Healthcare has evolved. The major transformation has happened from an individual doctor to an institution level.
Okay.
That is the biggest transformation. In initial days, when every family had a doctor,
Yeah, family
a
physician.
family physician. They
Correct.
used to go for everything. They used to go to a GP, and then he refers somewhere. That was the practice. Now people tend to move towards the institution,
Okay.
and more so after COVID, this has become more rampant.
Okay.
Because people have felt that we go to a small setting in times of crisis, you have to obviously go to a bigger center, and then that bigger center you are not a customer at all for them.
Correct.
So they will always give preference to their existing customers.
Correct.
So now people are all moving to a bigger centers, tertiary
Corporates.
quaternary care centers for even preliminary basic work.
Mm-hmm.
Initially, never used to. It's not a good trend, but
That's what is happening.
you will be destroying the primary secondary
Correct.
levels, but that's not a good trend. But that's what is happening now.
Mm-hmm.
And another major thing that has happened is the digital transformation.
Correct.
The medicine is going to evolve into a huge transformation in terms of the newer things that's going to come in terms of telemedicine is just a basic thing.
Correct.
A lot more things are coming in, and next 10 years, even including our chairman was predicting that the entire OP, the outpatient department will be taken off from the hospital.
It will become telemedicine.
Yeah,
kind of
it will
thing.
be only be admissions and surgeries happening in a hospital and nothing more than that. So that's going to be a huge evolution of healthcare that's going to come. And
So what are the let's say initiatives that you yourself have led, and what are the initiatives which are happening in larger Indian healthcare industry which are more digitally focused in that
Yeah.
sense, both from a patient, doctors and institution point of view?
see, in terms of the digital thing, a lot of things are happening in Aster as well as a lot of other players. Everyone is looking at it. If you are not going that route, the technology route, the digital route, you are not going to be in the market after some time. So you have to be, upgrading yourself. So a lot of things are happening in Aster. We have created innovation hub in Bangalore. So a lot of work. We work with the Indian Institute of Science, and they are trying to develop certain things, new methodologies, new technology. But at the same time, inside Aster, we are trying to bring in, like you mentioned, especially the pain points.
Correct.
What are the pain points for the patients? How can we, reduce that? So we are coming out with an app called My Aster, which will be launched very soon, probably the third quarter of this year, which will be an app which will be a comprehensive app which covers the 360-degree needs of the patients.
Okay.
Which we have a big wish list for that. So some details I can't disclose at this point of time because the app is
Still being
getting developed. But that will be an answer to a lot of things. Which, say, for example, to give a specific instance, a patient taking an online appointment or a telephonic appointment comes to the hospital again. He has to go to the reception again to say that I have arrived.
Okay.
So instead, now you go to an airport. You don't go to a counter, right? If you have it's only a check-in baggage you need to go. Otherwise, you can just
Walk to the
walk
security
through the
check.
security check directly, because it has become the QR codes and the scanners. So similarly, the patient can have that option where they come to the hospital, automatically they can do a self check-in. So the hospital, the doctor's list will start showing them, and he can directly go to the doctor. Probably in indoor navigation will also help them to reach the doctor.
Okay.
So a lot of such things are getting integrated. So more new features which will be very good
I
for
think
patients. who
indoor
come.
navigation is going to be a huge breakthrough because navigating hospital spaces, or for that matter, any indoor spaces, either in hospitals or malls or
Yes.
any retail space, that itself is a complicated thing. If
Correct.
that could be sorted, I think it will be great.
Great, yeah. And two things that we are already doing in Prime. One is a care continuum program, which is AI-driven program,
Okay.
which focuses mostly on the post-discharge, care. Any patient getting treated for a orthopedic surgery, his complications will be different from somebody getting a heart surgery.
Correct.
So, there is a chance of patients after discharge leading to certain complications, risk factors. So, there is a caregiver whose system sits in front of the system. They have the data. They know, okay, there's a total knee replacement patient who is at home. They may have, say, swelling in the surgical site. The other person may have a slight chest pain, So, you don't know. So, the risk factors are defined. So, this person will specifically ask the risk factors for that particular indication. The AI will show that. And then in case of an alert, it will directly go to as a physician escalation, doctor will get involved immediately so that the readmissions can be brought down, satisfactions can be better, a re-surgery or exploration can be completely stopped, and the patient will be more satisfied, obviously, the hospital taking care of. That's one. Second thing, now we are moving towards a concierge kind of a thing where it's a WhatsApp enabled device. When a patient comes into the hospital, there are multiple things, QR code scanning, or our team member add them to the program. It's basically, hospital, when they come in, they have a lot of issues in the hospital. The nurse may not come on time, food may not come on time, doctor did not explain properly, maybe a lot of complaints. Now they have to press the nurse call bell all the time.
Correct.
Now the WhatsApp, it comes in 19 languages. Okay. The moment they choose a language in the WhatsApp enabled app, they can say that, okay, and there are certain custom-made layouts already.
Correct.
It's housekeeping. They have to just click on housekeeping their language. They can say, okay, my linen, I need a change. I need more cleaning in the room, whatever. So it's all an app. It's like a chatbot. It will go to the person who is in charge of that, and they have an escalation matrix.
Okay.
So what happens is that the nurse can, one side the nurse workload will go down. At the same time, the patient will start interacting with the HODs directly.
Correct.
We also know whether they are satisfied with the service process. So these are two things which are already running here.
Okay. I think that's great change both in terms of patient satisfaction as well as operational efficiencies are definitely going to be there. Josy?
So, as you talked about AI, healthcare is all about human touch points. It's really important touch points. So, do you see any negative aspects of AI that might crop up, just like the Frankenstein of Mary Shelley?
To answer this question, the simple logic is, if 15 years back, if somebody would have said that, everyone will have a mobile, nobody would have believed. I still remember my boss when I was in sales in 99, I think. He had a mobile. He was considered to be one of the, elite class. And this big mobile it was.
I know.
The Alcatel one, big one. He used to carry like this in hand, to show off. So now everyone has a mobile, right?
Yes.
Technology has become so. It doesn't mean that the other communication we are communicating now is not gone. So the AI tool definitely will help the doctor to probably diagnose it better. Errors can be brought down. That human touch is going to remain because ultimately it's a humans who have to have that empathy and the compassion that machine will never have. At this point of time, we can't say.
We can't
say at a later point of time they will have that also.
But already machines which have become sentient now and they've become conscious machines. That's what the rumor is.
So now, see, you can detect something early. You can diagnose it better, which a doctor may miss. There are a lot of iterations for a disease, right? Cancer or some diseases like that. So these machines can really help in getting a better result, which can help the doctor take a better decision. So I think it's going to go hand in hand.
I usually have a question to sort of sum up, which is to ask Dave and say, what would you do different if you were 23 again or 22 again?
Yeah, so
what would you do different?
As I mentioned, I wanted to become a doctor, but that did not happen. But of late, I came to understand that I have a passion for food.
Okay.
Especially not only eating, but also cooking. So that's something which I came to realize at a later stage. But then by the time it was too late. So if you ask me, if I had to go back, probably I would have become a chef.
Okay.
Yeah.
You would have had a different career
Yes,
altogether.
already totally different career. Probably I may take up the same passion at a later stage. Once I retire from this job, probably that's something which I want to do. Something, at least a small dhaba, Dev's dhaba, something like that I want to start. That's the whole idea.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you very much, Dev, for your time, and we look forward to having more interactions with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Josy. That's all. We'll see you next time.